This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. You. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast, the number one podcast in Oakland, the number one podcast in the Bay Area. This is your host, Jordan Owandi. Today we have a special guest. You might have seen her on Everyday Celebrity News live on Facebook, but I brought her back to talk about her life, her upbringing, and basically everything in between. So today, Bianca, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. It's good to be here.
You have to speak up a little bit.
I need to speak up.
Yes. So how was your day going?
It's good. It's been good. I didn't sleep much last night. Watched a bunch of scary movies. Mm-hmm. And then I went to an event down the street, which I didn't realize was that close when I finished.
What event was it?
I was vending at my friend's shop. Maya, she is an artist and she sings, and she has like a jewelry accessory candle shop. She makes her own candles and stuff, and she just got a space down the road. Mm. Yeah, so she had a little birthday block party that I got invited to participate in very last minute.
And you're also you also make jewelry yourself, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
What kind of jewelry?
I make wire wrapping polymer clay, so like sculpted jewelry, chain work, fabric, just different stuff.
How long you been doing that?
I've been doing it for about, 2018, so like 2 years now, a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It came out of, I was excavating quartz crystals and obsidian up north on this property where I was living. And I had always wanted to make jewelry and sculpt jewelry. So I just started. I spent like 4 months collecting a bunch of crystals, and then I bought more different types of crystals. And I had a collection myself anyway, stuff that my mom gave me. And I happen to have like just a really large collection of jewelry from around the world, just from places where I've traveled or friends have traveled or just stuff I've had. So I started a shop.
What's the name of your shop?
Abeja Gold.
Say that again.
Abeja, like bee in Spanish. Gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like a bumblebee.
And but you do other things as well, right?
I do.
Like, tell the people what you do.
Well, tell them what I do right now or tell them what I've done?
I mean, like your artistry. Like, you just don't just make jewelry, right?
I don't, no. I paint, I illustrate, I write, I garden, I make music, I play music, and I'm into business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you originally from the Bay Area?
I'm from the Bay, yeah.
What part?
From San Mateo County, Burlingame.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
Siblings?
2 older sisters.
Are you guys close?
Yes and no.
What does that mean?
We had different upbringings, I guess. They grew up in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in Burlingame, but I also went to Guatemala a lot and stayed there. And I also grew up with like different families and like different parts of my family around the Bay.
Why were you going to Guatemala all the time?
I guess it was just cheaper to have me there.
You have family there?
I have a lot of family there. Yeah, I studied for my school there. Mm-hmm. You know, they sent a program over that I could use there to keep studying.
So you were in college in Guatemala?
No, this was like elementary school. Yeah, I stopped going when I was like 10, and then I didn't go back for like 15 years. But I go every year for like a few months or twice a year. Or just randomly. Yeah.
So what's it like in Guatemala?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's hard. It's really tough there. It's really hard for women and children. It has like one of the highest rates of like human trafficking, and just violence against women is really bad there. Violence in general is really bad there. They often have like travel warnings, and just the government is really corrupt. There's a lot of misogyny, like violence, just in general. Like homicides don't really get investigated, so people get away with it, and then the cartels run everything, and the government there is just kind of in compliance with it. But it's a beautiful country. The people are amazing. I love the people so much. Like I meet like older people who have been to a lot of places, and I've often heard older people say like Guatemala is my favorite place I've been to.
Did you ever feel unsafe there?
Yes. Absolutely. Another thing is there's a big prejudice against tattoos because people just assume that you're in a cartel. Or in a gang of some sort. And I was in Tikal, which is a national park there that has the ruins there. But this shouldn't drive anyone not to go there. Guatemala is gorgeous, but yeah, just some guy threatened. Actually, one of the workers there, one of the excavators there, had like threatened to do something to me in Spanish, and my mom heard him.
What did he threaten to do?
I think he threatened to like something. Just the culture's really weird there. Just like, oh yeah, like we should ask her if she wants to come with us, and like, oh, even if she doesn't want to, we'll just take her anyway, like take her by force, basically. And my mom got really mad, and she started like cussing them out and took pictures of them.
This is when you were already grown up?
And these are like the employees, yeah, like the people who are like working on the actual ruins. It's just there's a really big culture of violence there against women. And
so this happened when you were already of age?
I was 25.
When was the last time you were back there?
2015.
2015?
Yeah.
Are you going back?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Do your siblings go to Guatemala as often as you?
No. They definitely didn't go as often as I did. Yeah. They're a lot more conventional, I guess.
So your family, your parents are still together?
No, they're not. My dad separated from my mom. I guess he disappeared for a few years when I was like 6. Out of nowhere. What I do remember of my mom and my dad was they were very in love. Very, very in love. They were together for like 17 years. And then he dipped for a while, and then he just kind of showed up and would just show up every once in a while. And then I stopped seeing him completely once I was like maybe 14, but then he'd call every once in a while. But I didn't hear from him for a long time, and then he passed away.
So you, what high school did you go to out here?
I went to Burlingame, but I graduated from the San Mateo Adult School because I was one class off.
Did you used to get in trouble a lot in high school?
The administration there, they knew me well enough not to really reprimand me. They just kind of let me skip. I started skipping really young and working and like traveling. I just kind of got by on my like finals and my test scores, but I hated homework.
You were working in high school?
I was working all through high school.
Doing what?
First cleaning houses with my mom and like babysitting and stuff. And then I started doing like independent modeling gigs and like art gigs when I was like maybe 14, 15. And then once I was 16, I started working at a cafe, and then I got a job with Macy's on their like fashion trend board. I got scouted at like a fashion show. So they gave me a job for a year. And then I started selling weed when I was like 16.
So you were modeling at 14? Were these like creepy dudes? Like,
No.
yeah.
No, it was always students, and I always had my mom's permission. Or it was like a catalog, some random catalog, or like a random clothing line. Like just different little gigs. Yeah.
So after you finished high school, what did you do?
I moved to, after I finished high school in October, the year I was supposed to graduate. So the day after I got out of Burlingame High School, I moved in with my cousin. And then that semester I enrolled in City College of San Francisco while I was getting my diploma at the adult school where my mom works in San Mateo. And then I found me and my friends a house in the Sunset. And so I was just working and going to school, City College, for marine biology. That's what I wanted to transfer for. For a few years, I lived in the Sunset. And that was like the first year I really started living in San Francisco.
Did you take a lot of drugs when you were in high school?
I did. Yeah, I started studying. I was actually late on weed. I started with Vicodin because I had insomnia. I started having insomnia when I was like 9. And I had really bad insomnia when I was like 12. And my mother was always sick growing up. She has sciatica and anemia and stuff. So I just kind of found out about her like sleepy pills, and then I like looked it up. And so I started taking Vicodins to like sleep every once in a while. And then I started drinking then too. And then when I started smoking weed, I was like 14. And where I'm from, it's like you start smoking weed really young. It's a drug town. People have a lot of money there.
Where?
In Burlingame.
Burlingame?
Not that we did. We were there for Section 8. My mom wanted to go there. She lived in San Mateo. We lived in like a little apartment. But there, I grew up around people who are like 1%ers, like mansions.
Yeah.
Like crazy contrast. But yeah, so I started smoking weed late, and then I got into like Buddhism and Hinduism when I was like 14, 15, and I started reading about it, and that's when I started learning about like shrooms, mushrooms. And so I studied shrooms and just like plant medicine for like 6 months, and then I took shrooms when I was 15.
Did you ever get addicted to anything?
Yeah.
What?
I wouldn't say that I was addicted to anything yet. Hardcore. I was experimenting and I was selling whatever I could, and then kids there also had their hands on pills. So it's like just kids there do a lot of drugs. Burlingame is called the City of Trees. That's like the motto, so you start smoking weed and, there are all these like Xanax moms there and stuff like that. And then I went to school with like a lot of like just Ritalin kids and stuff. So it was just that kind of town. It was drenched in drugs. It was kind of weird.
So is it safe to say you've tried everything?
Yeah. There's a few things I probably haven't tried, but yeah.
Do you still participate?
I do.
In everything?
No, not in everything. No, I have my battles with addiction. But it's not my whole life.
All right. So recently you had a experience at a CVS. And you had a video that went viral, I'm assuming. Or not viral. Well, I guess you can say viral.
It's viral.
Huh?
I don't know. It has a lot of views.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's not like famous or anything. It's not like it was on Google or it wasn't trending or whatever.
So I saw the video, right? And then why did you... Well, explain what the video is, basically.
I went to CVS to go to the pharmacy. And out of nowhere, the pharmacist started being really rude to me and trying to like shoo me away. And I didn't let her. I kind of like reacted.
Speak louder, please.
I didn't really let her shoo me away. I kind of reacted. And then as I started walking out of the store, I got approached by a different woman from the cash registers, and she kept asking me if I had merchandise, and I told her multiple times, no, I don't have any merchandise to bring up. I even started messing with my pockets. I was like, I don't have anything. I don't know what you want. She followed me from one side of the store to the exits, and then I went in my car. I started like messing with my phone. I pulled out of the parking space and started driving away. And that's when I noticed she was outside taking like pictures of my car. And that's when I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, what the fuck is she gonna do with my picture? Like, I'm gonna get my cell phone out to, like, be accountable and to ask her what the fuck she's doing. Because I know that's against policy.
What, taking a picture of someone's car?
Even going outside and chasing somebody outside and taking, like, their information like that, I don't think that's legal. On top of that, I mean, it just clicked. I already recognized what it was, you know, and it's like, I don't know what she's going to do with that information. Is she going to call the police? Is she going to post my picture? Is there going to be a picture of me here now? So every time I come here to the CVS in my town where I'm living, like, I wouldn't say it's my town, but the town where I'm living, like, am I going to be pointed out or fucking alienated, you know, because of why?
So you get out the car?
So I get out of the car and I approached her and I was like, why are you taking pictures of my car? I didn't steal anything. Like, and she kept saying like, first, like, oh, it's not a big deal. I'm not even going to bother to look at the tapes. Like, obviously you needed it. She kept saying that you needed it. Obviously you needed it. People need to steal condoms. People need to do this. Obviously you needed it.
It was condoms?
No, I was buying Plan B. And I was already really stressed out about it and nervous and I was sick.
Nervous about buying Plan B?
Yeah.
What's so nervous about that?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. It seems like a big hormonal thing to just kind of X out of. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's still my body. And I don't know. I've only taken it a few times. And I know the times that I did take it, it didn't make me feel very good. You feel that shift in your cycle and your body and your, like, I don't know, you know, like, it's just chemicals. I don't know. Like, fuck.
All right.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with taking it, but I was just nervous.
Okay, so you guys confront each other outside the store.
Right. And she's adamant that she's not accusing me, but it's missing. And she understands anyway, because obviously I needed it. And she's not going to bother to look at the tapes, even though she followed me out of the store, asked me a bunch of times, got answers, and then came out and took pictures of my car.
Did you end up buying it?
No. Well, yeah, somewhere else, but not there, you know? Like,
they just have Plan Bs just out where people can just grab it, or is it? Because I'd always thought like it was like behind like the nurses or whatever.
That's what I thought too. I don't know a lot about it. I guess in some places you could just grab it.
So in that CVS you can just grab it?
But
Interesting.
But okay, so I didn't know that. So I called my doctor. So, or like not my doctor, just where I go to the clinic. And I said, what's up with this? Like, oh, can I get it free? Because I have the Healthy SF. And she's like, no, but I can text you a coupon to get it for 13. I was like, oh, why? How much is it? And she's like, oh, it's 45. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, text me the coupon. Yeah, I'm going to save that money.
Yeah.
Of course. So I went and it was closed. So I don't know, just a weird interaction. It just didn't make me feel good because it's just happened to me. I don't like it. I don't like being accused of being a thief.
So
there's nothing wrong with being a thief either because I have stolen in my life too.
Yeah. I stole a whole bunch of shit in my
I've stolen a lot of shit in my life. Fuck corporations. I wish I had stolen, at this point. But I wasn't stealing it. It's annoying. It's still annoying. It's still just, and just the way she was talking to me was just really condescending. I didn't like that. As if she was trying to.
Why did you just stay there and keep talking to her? Why didn't you just leave?
It was just I wanted that satisfaction of finally being able to show somebody I didn't steal from you. Because I rarely get that closure.
You think she gave a fuck? She didn't care.
I mean, she cared enough to keep talking.
No, what I'm saying is she didn't care about you proving her wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I could tell she didn't give a shit.
So
she
why
still
even
thought I
why
was
even sit
wrong.
there and talk to her for that long of a time?
I just wanted to I just wanted the product to show up and just be like, you just said all this fucking really nasty shit to somebody you don't even know. Like if she hadn't run her mouth, really, it was like this could have been solved very easily. Ask me where it is.
Yeah.
Instead of being passive aggressive, I hate passive aggressive shit. I really don't like passive aggressiveness. I really don't like it. It's really annoying to like skirt around things, So she could have come up to me and instead of being like, oh, so are you ready to ring up your merchandise? You're expecting that you're putting me in some type of position to where I'm like, I guess, and pull it out of my pocket or something like you're the fucking hero of the day. Fucking Mark,
That's what they teach you in loss prevention. Don't accuse them, just walk up to them.
She's not even loss prevention, though.
Yeah,
she's not supposed to do that. She's a cashier.
But anyways.
And she's white. It's always been white people who have accused me of stealing. Minus one person.
So you just look like someone who steals? Is that what you're saying?
No. Yeah. To white people, maybe. Probably, yeah. I imagine when I walk in a room and I don't know, maybe it's my last name, maybe it's I don't know. I've been accused of a lot of shit from white people. I've been attacked by white people a lot in my life. A lot.
Attacked?
Attacked. Physically, verbally, emotionally, financially, everything. I've been stifled by white people a lot in my life. Burlingame was a very racist place. Very racist. So
you left the CVS and just basically just ended up getting it somewhere else.
It ended up being, sorry?
You just ended up getting it somewhere else. That's the whole more point of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up getting it somewhere else. I showed him where it was and I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy with the way she was talking to me.
So I'm assuming you don't have children?
I don't know.
So I'm assuming you believe in abortions?
I do, yeah.
How do you feel about
1,000%.
How do you feel about some of these places that tell women what to do with their body?
I hate it. I think it's horrible. I don't like it.
How do you feel about some of these congressmen saying that even if you're raped, you still should have the kid?
It's disgusting. there at least there was, I don't know if it's changed, but there was like a law in Australia where they were giving custody to rapists.
Mm-hmm.
That's out of this fucking world.
What do you mean? Like the baby is born and then the person who raped her gets custody of the kid?
Mm-hmm.
In Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have, been very lucky in some ways to have been born here, compared to the rest of my family, at least the generation before mine.
Mm-hmm. So you said you've been attacked by white people. Can you tell me some stories?
For example, right after Trump got elected, I got physically, publicly attacked by 3 random white dudes within the first 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm. When you say physically attacked, can you be specific?
The first one was at Ruby Room. I was at a show. My friend Clint, what's up, Clint?
Ruby Room in Oakland?
Yeah. I was in Ruby Room seeing my friend's band. And there was a really drunk white dude there. And he just, really old, it doesn't matter how old you are, but whatever. It was an old ass white dude, mm-hmm. really drunk. And he just started babbling in my face and started grabbing at me and shit, grabbing my arm.
What was he talking about? Like the Trump
I don't even remember.
Election or something?
Just he wasn't making sense because he was really drunk. But what I remember was that everybody was just kind of watching him do this to me, and nobody was like, hey, leave her alone or anything. And I kept pushing him off of me and being like, leave me the fuck alone, Mm-hmm. And then eventually he kind of really pushed into me, as he was just kind of gargling, saying whatever the fuck he was saying, and just let himself fall into me really aggressively. And I just pushed him super hard. And I was like, what the fuck is your problem? Mm-hmm. Until he just kind of walked away on his own. And I'm looking around at the bar staff, and it's me, I'm used to being at bars where I know everyone. I know the people who work there. I know, if anyone even witnesses that for a split second, they're going to just fucking push him out, But it was just so weird to me to look at the staff who were kind of watching me and see them do nothing. And everybody was just kind of standing around, and it was just
So you said it was 3, you got attacked by 3 guys.
The second person.
At the same night?
No, it was within 6 weeks. The second person was a few weeks later. I went to go visit my friend in Boulder Creek. And we were at a store at the 35. That's an old biker's route too. Mm-hmm. There are a bunch of biker stops there, Amy's and stuff. And we were at the market there. Anyone would know what I'm talking about if they know the 35 from San Mateo to Santa Cruz. There's that market before Boulder. And my friend who's a white guy, he walked into the market and went to go buy stuff. I was going to go stay with him and his family, who I grew up with, because he knows my family. We grew up together. We went to the same church and stuff, and I was just excited to see them. And so he went to go buy booze and food and stuff to barbecue. And I was sitting in his truck, and I went outside to smoke a cigarette. And this old white dude all of a sudden gets out of his truck and starts charging towards me and starts saying oh, you fucking cunt. What the, just cursing at me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what? And I kind of put my hands in a what? What do you want? And then he just started walking towards me and saying shit. And that's when he threw his beer can at me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And that's when my friend Colin came out, and he was like, yo, what are you doing? And then once he came out, he saw that he was coming towards me. He started retreating. But this dude came from a really far distance to start approaching me, mm-hmm. start cursing at me, and then started really fast charging at me, and then threw his beer can at me, which almost hit me. Mm-hmm. So I guess there was no physical contact, but I still count that as a random fucking public encounter attack from a random white dude for no reason, a hostile random white dude. And then after that, I was skateboarding down California, I believe. And I was like bombing these hills. When you bomb hills, you kind of time it with traffic so that you don't bail or you don't come onto oncoming traffic. And so I knew nobody was behind me. I like to be safe when I skate. And so I took it and I timed it so I'd be fine. So I'd have time to relieve myself at the green light. Traffic wouldn't come. And all of a sudden I hear a motorbike coming, like a motor, like accelerating behind me, like really fast. And then all of a sudden I hear yelling. And then I'm skating down this hill. And all of a sudden this white dude on his scooter makes contact with me. And I'm holding on to him. So I don't fall. And he's saying like, get the fuck off the fucking road, like blah, 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 all this stuff, this super old white dude. And then I managed to like, he's driving and kind of like swerving into me, and I managed to push off of him with my skateboard. But then I started getting the wobbles, so I'm like, I have to fall right now. I'm going really fast. He knocked my timing off. I fall really hard. And as he's scooting away, he says, go back to where you came from. And then I'm scraped up, hurt, going really fast, and I didn't get out of bed for like 3 days because I was so sore.
So you have all these horrible experiences with white people, you say?
That's not even like a sliver of it, yeah.
So is it safe to say that you don't like white people?
I don't like white people.
What don't you like about white people?
I love.
No, I didn't say love. I said
people.
What don't you like about?
What I don't like about white people is irresponsibility, no accountability, denial, fucking destruction. Just oblivion. I hate that. I hate oblivious white people. You know, definitely the subtle racist or the subtle contributor, which is obviously still racist. Like, it's just the worst. It's the worst. The denier.
So, this is what baffles me, right? You're in a relationship, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the people your boyfriend, his race?
He's white.
Can you say that again?
He's white. He's white. Some of my best friends are white.
So, this is what I don't understand.
Yeah.
If you feel this way about white people, and I'm not saying I'm not saying all white people are the same, obviously. But if I had all these horrible experiences and traumas with like Chinese people, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't search for a Chinese partner. Now, why?
Nobody searches.
Well, I know. Well, I wouldn't search for, or it's very unlikely that I would be in the position to even be dating a Chinese person. So, how did that relationship come about?
I met him at work, and he was really, really polite and really nice to me. And he asked me out. He was super nice. He was really funny. He was really hard worker. I mean,
It sounds like you don't even know why you're with him.
No, I know exactly why I'm with him. He treats me really well. He supports me. One of the biggest reasons, honestly, is because he's not intimidated by my creativity. That's a problem I've had with
so
just
you don't have
general.
a problem with him being white?
Yeah, sometimes, definitely, of course. Sometimes it drives me fucking up the wall. I mean, but at the same time, like he's very willing to listen to me and learn. He wants to learn. And I already didn't have to like say so much. Like, I don't know, like it's just not really, I don't know how to explain it. Like when I meet anyone, I don't know, like there's no prerequisite. Like if you are open-minded, loving, love all people, you care about people, you're a hard worker, you're productive, you're intelligent, you know you're not perfect, you know you have room to grow and learn, and you do those things. Like me, it's more of like that like iron will that I like in people. And I feel like you can find that in anyone. Just that will to live, that will to learn, that will to be loving, that will to like give yourself to somebody. And I'm also at a point in my life where I want a monogamous relationship. Like that's what I've always wanted for myself eventually.
How long you guys been together?
2 years.
It's a long time.
Not really.
So you believe that one person could be with one person the rest of their life?
I believe it's possible. I don't believe it's the epitome of love or the way things should be.
Do you believe one person can be just a sexual with one person the rest of their life?
I do believe that, yeah. Yeah, I believe that can happen if somebody wants it.
Then that's what you want?
I mean, right now, yeah. Yeah, right now, yeah. I like it.
Have you guys met each other's family yet?
Yeah.
Okay. And what does your family feel about him being white?
My family loves him. My mom knows. I mean, my mom shares the same ideals as I do about white people. You know, she's had her fair share of experiences, but I mean, she loves him. She's never said anything about him being white.
And what does their family say about you?
His family's very different.
Meaning what?
They're not close to him. They're not the same. He has problems with his family, really bad problems. It's really sad. They treat him like shit, kind of. He's they didn't like that he didn't want to go to school and chose to start growing weed instead and working in business and construction and start being creative instead. And so they kind of like cut all ties with him and for like different years on and off. And I don't know, they're very strange. They just operate very different. They're very much a white US family, very superficial, conventional, materialistic. My mom loves him. My mom has had to like sub in to be his mom, which he like needs right now, because his mom and dad they just bring him down, just insult him. They insult him. They treat him like shit. It's really sad.
Have you ever been diagnosed with anything?
I have.
What?
Schizoaffective disorder and insomnia. But I mean,
So you're bipolar?
yeah, that has to do with it.
And when did you get diagnosed for that?
In 2015, officially, yeah.
Well, before that, you didn't think you were bipolar?
No, I definitely knew something was wrong with. I thought I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely knew something was different. I thought I had schizophrenia, just schizophrenia.
So what was happening that made you start thinking this?
PTSD kind of flipped my brain as a kid. And I started getting insomnia when I was like 9. And I also started like very sensational otherness to my thought process when I was very young. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I almost like a disassociative cognition where I understood that my life in a physical realm existed as a kid, but I also felt like there was something outside of my physical body that was driving me as a person. Like I started lucid dreaming when I was really young.
Yeah.
Like really young. Like I got really good at lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, can you explain that?
Lucid dreaming, like when you snap into your dreams and you can control it. You know, when you say to yourself, I'm dreaming, but you're still in that dream, and then you kind of fuck with,
like, dreaming while you're awake?
like being awake while you're dreaming.
Yeah.
So almost like you're not even sleeping at all, which can be troubling as well too. It's almost like being like a video game character or being thrown into like a film or like a film set. Where you just kind of have to accept it to your reality for this kind of amount of time, and eventually you're going to wake up that you're just there, you know. Anyways, so then I started having auditory hallucinations, insomnia, depression. I think I thought about death and suicide way too much, way too young of an age. And just...
Have you ever tried to commit suicide?
Yes.
How many times?
3, I think.
So it's safe to say that you're horrible at...
That was a long time ago. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I attempted, which I'm really proud of. I'm really... It's been a long time since
you're proud that you suck at trying to commit suicide?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't... It's hard to explain.
When was the first time you tried to commit suicide?
I was 19.
And how did you try to kill yourself?
I tried to run into a moving train, an oncoming train in Millbrae.
That's kind of like easy to do. So how did you fail? You just got in front of the train and changed your mind?
I was already walking on the railroad tracks, really drunk. I guess I was singing really loud or something, or being really loud, talking to myself. So somebody had already called the cops on me, and before the train was like in sight, if you know the cow train. I was at Millbrae, and I was going into a private area, and that's when somebody called the police, and the police was like right by Millbrae Bar, cow train, and I got tackled by them before the train could hit me.
So you were on the tracks with the train coming to you?
Right.
The police tackled you? And then arrested you?
No, they 5150 me. It was very obvious that I was trying to kill myself.
And then the second time?
The second time wasn't so much in a... Oh, well, no. The second time I was using, and
Using what?
Drugs. And it wasn't so much that I was trying to kill myself. It was that I was accepting that it could very well
that
happen.
You can
I was
overdose.
Just going. I was just going for it. I was just going in and out of it. And then I woke up like 17 hours later. Just
was your heroin or something?
And it was just bad. And then I cleaned up after that for a while. It took me a little while, but I did clean up. And then the third time was the second time I got 5150. It wasn't that I had an attempt. It was that I was about to hurt myself. I was blacking out sober and just getting really violent. I was very frustrated. There have been a lot of things that I've worked very hard for, and things like getting accused from stealing and losing opportunities, or being accused of being a certain type of person or something, like really fucking, it would really fuck with me a lot, you know, because I'd work really hard for a certain opportunity and just to get it pulled like last minute. So I had told my psychiatrist at the time that I was afraid I was going to kill myself or hurt myself really bad super soon, because I was having really violent blackout outbursts, sober and intoxicated. And I was skating a lot, really psycho shit. I was doing really psycho shit on my skateboard. Just hills, just attempting really dangerous shit. And then the third time, which was the last time, was with a friend of mine. And I was trying to jump in front of like moving cars, and I was trying to like jump off a ledge or something. And that was the last time.
So were you depressed during all these times? Or how far apart were these? Like the first time you did it was 19.
First time was
and
19.
You tried it again when?
I wasn't trying. I was letting it happen. It's just there's a distinction. I know it doesn't seem like it, but there is a distinction. It's second time 23? 24?
23?
Something. I don't really remember. 22? 23?
Was anything specific going on in your life to make you
Yeah, I was really frustrated. I had just lost a job where I was being discriminated, and I was getting paid a lot of money. I was working really hard. I really liked the job. And even the people who had like just gotten hired were like, you should sue these people. You know, like they're discriminating against you really bad. You know, like, we'll help you with the lawsuit. We'll be witness to a lawsuit. And I was like, no, fuck it. I'm just going to eat it. I didn't stand up for myself as much back then. And like, just different things. Like I had lost a ton of my friends because I was couch casted by a music producer. And I said no to his advances after like working in the studio on a
couch
demo.
casted. What is that?
Couch cast is like when it's like it was originally, I think, a term for actresses to advance their careers in like Hollywood. So you'd meet the director, they would offer to fuck, and you could take it for a career, which could like, that's a totally valid way. If you want to fucking come up in the world by like, that's fine. I don't see anything.
It's called couch casted.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's not couch casting. Couch casting is more like non-consensual. Like, you don't realize you're showing up for that. Like, you go to a job interview or something like that, or you have a contract or something where you're in the position, or somebody else is in the position to advance your career. Right. And it's specifically with creative arts. This music producer had told me I could go on tour we actually had like dates and everything booked. I had like an opening thing. I had been recording a demo, like all this stuff. And then he tried to sleep with me. And then 2 weeks later, I said no, and I ran out of this house. And 2 weeks later, the lawyer had said that my music was too drug influenced, even though the guys on that record label talked about like the pill bottle's empty or whatever, or the lines on the mirror, some shit. But my music was too drug influenced. And then I had no friends, at least in that era.
Who was the director or whatever?
I'm not going to say names, but let's just say it was a hippie convent type of record label.
You can't say the record label either?
Indie folk. It was Cake Knife. It was Cake Knife Records.
Cave Knife Records?
Cake Knife Records. Yeah, and then it come out like a few years later that like a bunch of girls were getting like roofied around their scene and stuff, and he had given one of my friends pills and she didn't realize what she was taking and stuff like that. She was really uncomfortable about it, and I had gotten drugged around that scene too at one of my shows. So it was just kind of a weird time. So I had just lost a really big, I was just very illusioned, I fell into like the illusion of being able to come up with my music, and thought that, cool, I'm going to be on this record label where the bands are all touring and traveling and have shows, and they're just have access to all these instruments and shit and studios and just amazing equipment and analog equipment and stuff. And it's going to be fucking great, and this is what I've been dreaming of, since I started writing or playing music. And then it was like, just, I don't know, I was just depressed. My best friend died. Just a lot of shit.
After that happened, did you stop doing music for a while, or did you keep pursuing?
No, I kept playing music.
Now, what type of music do you make? Are you in a band or something?
I've been in a bunch of bands, but right now, no.
Do you sing, or you play the drums?
I sing, I play drums, I play piano, I play guitar. I'll try to learn anything with strings. Sitar, I love sitar. I love piano a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
I love instruments.
So, your jewelry line, where do you sell this jewelry?
I do sell.
Where can people find that?
Slang, my jewelry is nice. I love it. It's great. It's one of my prouder business endeavors that I've had. I'm proud of all my business endeavors, but I'm really proud of this business a lot. It was just a little baby of a idea, and I just kind of rocked it. I launched it, like I kind of rushed the launch, and I don't know, just grew into so much, and it grew into a lot, and I love making jewelry. I really like it a lot. I love designing jewelry.
Nice.
And it just kind of has made me realize that I can, at least one of my careers, I really see myself doing it for a while and expanding it and doing more with it.
All right. Well, this is the part of the interview where I'm going to give you the floor to promote whatever you want to promote. So you can tell the people where they can find you on Instagram, or your email address, or tell people where they can find your jewelry or whatever else you want to promote. So go ahead.
Okay.
Speak loud too.
My business is Abeja, Abeja Gold. That's on Instagram. I also want to talk about my family's nonprofit. It's a Mayan dance group. that we've had it's been running for over 20 years. So we dance like traditional Mayan dances. And we've been doing that around the Bay at like museums, Carnival every year, at like private parties, different cultural events at the ballpark and stuff. Like, that's Proyección Folclórico Grupo Xelajú. Xelajú is our tribe, our Mayan tribe. So it's PFG underscore Xelajú, which is XELAJU on Instagram. We have a Facebook too. And yeah, and then I have my designs and stuff too at an old account. Beja Salvaje 89. Just my main account is Bianca. Bianca.Gonzalez 89 on Instagram. And I'm on Facebook. Yeah, those are my socials. You can find my illustrations, my designs, some of my music, like some of the stuff I've written, a lot of improv. I like to upload a lot of improv. Eventually I'll have a piano again. So I'm working on songs. I want to come out with like more of like a dance album, like dance music. That should be sometime next year.
Do you have a YouTube?
I don't. I have an old like Reverb Nation with old like emo indie folk songs I recorded in my like old studio in my old room, art studio at this warehouse, like when I was like 21. That was a long time ago. But yeah, there are different YouTube videos. Like my stuff is really all over the place. Stuff with Lump Sum Zine, stuff with Reverb Nation, I don't know, email me or just hit me up on Instagram and I can send whatever work or whatever type of media that I've been into. But so yeah, more music's gonna come out. My second collection of my jewelry is gonna come out soon. Like I kind of came out with like a line of jewelry and design. So this is like my second chapter that'll be up soon. And then I'm working on clothes. I'm designing clothes. I bought a sewing machine a little while ago. So that'll be up eventually too. I'll have a website and stuff. I'm not super established. Eventually, when I can raise the money to do it. I got rent to pay and stuff.
Well, all right. That was a lot of shit. But
that was.
For all the people who are listening, if you listen to this and you are interested in this woman, then go and follow her on Instagram.
My life is a lot of celebration too. I love dancing. Yeah. I've had a lot of good times in San Francisco. I do want to say that. It's not all.
Well, this was the dark.
Yeah.
If you want to find out about the nice stuff, then you can go on our Instagram. Look at that.
Without darkness, there's no light, right? Shit.
Yeah, of course. But thank you, Bianca, for coming on Everyday Celebrity Podcast.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me this time.
Yeah, I hope
good to talk.
All that shit works out for you.
It's working out. It's good.
All right. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast, and we are out. Bye.